If you have outgrown simple project management boards like Trello or Asana, or you're still managing projects in spreadsheets, well, Smartsheet might be your next smart move. It combines the flexibility of spreadsheets with the real structure of project management. But it's often seen as the bridge between simpler tools like Trello or Asana and more complex feature-heavy platforms like ClickUp or Jira, giving teams that structure but without the learning curve. So the real question is it right for you, your team, and the way you work? In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into Smartsheet, looking at how it handles projects and tasks, team coordination, reporting, and more. We'll break down its core features, project views, pricing, integrations, and give you a clear picture of whether it's the right tool to keep your projects on track. Hey there, I'm Alex Knowles from softwarefinds.com, where we help you find the right tools that actually suit how your business runs. We're building a growing library of hands-on reviews designed to help you choose software that suits the unique needs of your team, without marketing fluff. In this video, we're diving into how Smartsheet actually performs so you can see if it's the right fit for the way you manage projects. So let's dive right in. When you first land in Smartsheet, it's worth taking a moment to understand how everything's structured because, like any project management platform, it has its own hierarchy. At the top, you've got workspaces. These are like the folders that group together your teams, projects, or departments. Inside a workspace here, I have just used a template. You'll find the workspace items, and these are the sheets, which are the core building blocks of Smartsheet. Each sheet is essentially a project, which you can view as a Gantt, timeline, and board view, with the grid view being the spreadsheet style view. We'll discuss reports and dashboards later in this video, so stick around for that. But within a sheet, your rows are typically your tasks, and your columns define the structure. Think assigning, due date, email, priority, progress, even nest rows to create parent-child relationships, which is perfect for breaking big deliverables down into subtasks and even sprints. This structure is one of Smartsheet's biggest strengths. It's flexible, scalable, and easy to follow once you understand the layers. It gives you a clear system to work within, and that clarity is a huge win for project managers. This is where Smartsheet starts to feel really different from tools like Trello or Asana. Let's start in grid view, which is where most projects begin. Here we've got a simple project with tasks, subtasks underneath, owners, deadlines, and status fields. At the core of any project is the sheet, and we can change the view of the sheet from the default grid view. Here we can see the other options. We can also create forms up here of any sheet or database to collect the data. And I will admit that the Smartsheet forms do look clean, however they are basic. It can send emails upon submission, but it offers no form logic and you can't really push the design. Tasks are organized in a clear hierarchy. We've got project phases with subtasks or child tasks indented beneath each parent task. If I select the resource allocation column and we go column properties, here we can see the column or field types that we have available. Now, the usual suspects are there. However, it is rare to see that a text and number field are considered one and the same format. And when it does come to complex automations with third-party connections, third-party tools, I can see us running into some issues there. But moving on, we've got date, duration, checkbox, contact list or person, and so on. And here's where it gets interesting. Smartsheet doesn't have a dedicated formula or calculation type column or field type, like most platforms do, meaning when you're setting up your sheet, you won't see a column option called formula. But that doesn't mean that you can't use formulas in Smartsheet. You can actually write formulas directly into any cell or entire columns. So rather than the usual process of having a formula field and needing to jump into the settings to format how that value is outputted, your column type, and then you input the formula there. But not all columns are supported. Now, these formulas themselves, they behave very similarly to Excel spreadsheets, just applied within the Smartsheet project structure. And beyond your grid views, you can filter what data you want to display. However, we don't have the option to create advanced filtering with both and or rules. Over on the right, you've also got your task level toolkit, comments, attachments, proofing, update requests, and more. Also AI, but that's just your usual summarization and data search. You can also add files, track conversations through comments, view change history, or even request updates from someone outside your team. All of that without ever having to leave the sheet itself. But let's now talk about the project management must-haves. If you manage real projects with timelines, handoffs, and approvals, task dependencies are a must-have. And Smartsheet handles this well. You can link tasks together, so if one gets delayed, everything downstream updates automatically. That saves you from manually shifting dates every time a deadline changes. Now, something that is just as important as task dependencies is automations and integrations. Smartsheet's automations are built around simple, rule-based workflows, and they can be accessed from any sheet and reflect that sheet that you've accessed them from. You can also use their templates to get started, automating things like alerting someone when conditions are met, notifying your team through Slack, Mail, or Microsoft Teams, requesting approvals, generating documents, and regenerating recurring tasks. And it's all done through this visual builder. We can stack conditions, filters, and actions to suit your workflow. And excitingly, we can schedule our automated workflow so that it isn't just a trigger event from things that occur in app. We want it to happen weekly or some other time frame. And when it comes to the actions we have available, we have those previously mentioned: request an update, request an approval, and we can also lock and unlock rows to ensure our team don't mess things up. One handy option that stands out is the ability for us to move or copy rows to another sheet. So for example, when a task is marked as complete, you can move it over to another department in order to follow up with an NPS feedback form. And the conditions we can set in these workflows give us advanced logic. Now, on the integration side, Smartsheet plays well with the usual suspects: Slack, Outlook, and Gmail. We will see that we actually need to add another platform to our subscription to connect with the rest of our tech stack. And that subscription is going to be Data Shuttle. But of course, you have to pay that extra subscription, which is disgruntling. So Smartsheet does support cross-platform automation, but they've created another product to get this done. Well, instead, we could use a platform like Zapier, which actually have a ton of trigger options available, which is exciting. And when it comes to automatically kicking things off in Smartsheet, the actions we have available are also extensive. Yes, you will most likely have to pay for Zapier when you hit the free plan limits, but hey, at least then you can connect the entirety of your tech stack and you're not just stuck connecting Smartsheet to other tools. And for developers, the API is available, however, only on business and enterprise plans. You can then group, sort, and even edit those tasks and those projects directly in the report, which is really helpful for team leads or project managers managing across several projects and even departments. Once your projects are live, what really matters is visibility. Now, Smartsheet gives you a few ways to handle that. Reports lets you pull in specific rows or sheets. Now, rather than what we are used to, think graphic widgets on your usual dashboards, these are more filtered or group views, so you can highlight particular data. You can filter, summarize, pull in rows from multiple sheets, and spotlight what matters, all overdue tasks across projects or something like tasks by team member. You can then group, sort, and even edit those tasks directly in the report. That said, reports are only as good as your sheet structure. So if you have messy sheets, well, your reports aren't going to be that valuable. If your workspace is well organized and your sheets follow a particular template or process, then your reports can save you a whole heap of time. Basically, this is the same functionality of any grid or table view. The reports themselves don't really give that much value. Dashboards, on the other hand, give you a visual layer of your sheets and reports. You can drag in charts, metrics, reports, and links. And because dashboards update in real time from your reports and sheets, they're ideal for high-level visibility without digging into the details, and they give you better control. However, I have to say it does feel like an outdated UI. When we look at other platforms like Airtable, even ClickUp, the dashboards and the functionality that we have on those far exceed what we have here. Work apps are Smartsheet's attempt to turn your sheets, dashboards, and forms into a simplified app-like experience. Think portals, interfaces, and internal tools. You can build a portal where different roles, say marketing versus finance, only see what's relevant to them. No sheet browsing, no folder digging, just a clean interface. That said, if you are mainly managing Smartsheet from your desktop or laptop and you find yourself in a situation where you need quick access, well, the mobile app gets the job done. Now, we all know that project managers are incredibly busy and often on the go. And that's why your project management tool definitely needs a mobile app. So Smartsheet does have a mobile app, and I'm going to say it's solid. You can access your sheets, update tasks, and make comments. It's definitely handy for reviewing things on the go and responding to like a comment or a mention, especially if you're in a meeting or if you're out on a sales call. Although you can't access automations, forms, or work apps, but that's no stress. I will say that the layout kind of feels cramped and some features just aren't as smooth as they are on desktop. And now let's look at one of the most important factors in deciding which tool to use. Pricing. Smartsheet itself is sold under a licensed user model. So if someone's creating sheets, building reports, setting up automations, they need a license. But the good news is, view-only guests or users or collaborators, they don't often count towards the total. So if we scroll down, we can see that Smartsheet offers both monthly pricing and annual pricing, which of course gives you a discount. When we look at the annual pricing, you're going to be starting at $9 per member for the entry-level plan. Now, this is capped at 1 to 10 members, but however, you can include unlimited viewers. So if you've got one member, $9, 10 members, that's $90 per month. You're also capped at 10 members. So once you do go over the 10 members, well, you're going to be looking at either business or the enterprise plan. You get formulas. Woohoo! You also have unlimited sheets, forms, and reports, and you get 250 automations per month. Now, the next plan we're jumping up to is the business plan. So you're seeing a $10 growth. Here you get 3+ members, which is unlimited guests and viewers again. Of course, you get everything in Pro, plus you get a timeline view. I feel like that's definitely a necessity for project managers. So you probably are going to see yourself jumping onto the timeline view, although the Gantt view does get the job done. You also get team workload tracking, admin capabilities, unlimited automations, which is such a big win. However, again, don't forget that we can't really connect to the rest of our tech stack. So you're going to be using Zapier, Make, or an automation tool, and you get 1 terabyte of attachment. Now, I'm unsure the storage that you get with that Pro plan. I can't actually find that in any of the help resources. So if you do know, let me know in the comments below. If you feel like you're going to outgrow the business plan, well, then you're going to have to jump in and have a conversation with the team on that enterprise plan. With this, you're going to get AI formulas, texts and charts, collections, work insights. Now, what I will say is that AI formulas, I feel like that should be something that's offered across all other pricing tiers, as it is at least in the entry, if not the secondary pricing tier on all other platforms. Oh, and of course, I forgot to mention that we actually have the wildcard or the bonus plan. So this is custom pricing solutions for your needs. You get everything you get in the enterprise plan plus more. That includes Data Shuttle, which we spoke about, Control Center, Dynamic View, Salesforce, Data Mesh, Calendar App, and more. Now, what are these apps that we're mentioning? Well, these are add-ons that are actually included in an advanced pricing plan. If we scroll down, we'll see premium features here. And these are just that. They're like Click Apps and ClickUp or extended functionality of your Smartsheet, the Control Center, the Calendar app, the Pivot app, connectors. I'll be sure to leave in the description of this video some links to those so you can learn more about them. Now, while they do extend the functionality, you want to make sure that you actually need them and you aren't just putting on new bells and whistles to extend your Smartsheet workspace. So what should you expect? Well, Smartsheet's pricing is fair for what it offers, but you need to ensure that you match your needs to the right pricing plan. The Pro plan works well for small teams with straightforward needs. The business plan opens things up with proper automation, admin control, and scaling. However, don't forget that you are going to have to pay for Data Shuttle to connect to other apps or Zapier in that place. And enterprise is where you go if you're managing big teams, complex workflows, or need integrations and oversight at scale. Then we also have that wildcard plan. Now, I will let you know that Smartsheet's users are diverse from medium size to enterprise size teams. So while we do have plans that are situated and geared towards the smaller teams, I'm not sure whether Smartsheet is the best platform for small teams. You'll want to watch out for automation limits, user caps, feature gaps that creep in when you're on those lower tiers, and you want to double check whether you'll need any of those add-ons because those can seriously change the price. So the moment that you've all been waiting for, who is Smartsheet best for? Smartsheet sits right between basic project management trackers like Trello and heavyweight systems like ClickUp. It's that middle ground, ideal for mid-sized teams or growing businesses managing multiple workflows, cross-functional projects, or detailed operations. If you've outgrown spreadsheets but don't want to feel overwhelmed by the full blown out enterprise level project management, well, this could definitely be a strong pick for you and your team. Smartsheet offers flexibility with structure. You'll get that familiar grid feel of Excel, but with the added power of project views, permissions, reporting, and automation. It's particularly well structured for professional services and ops teams, agencies juggling multiple clients, internal projects, and industries like construction, education, or marketing operations. But let's be honest, it's not perfect for everyone. If you're looking for a beautifully designed out-of-the-box tool with drag and drop simplicity, you might find the learning curve a bit steep. And if you're running solo or just need lightweight task tracking, it's probably more tool than you need. Smartsheet rewards planning and processes. If your team thrives on visibility, task dependency, and clear structure, well, it could be a strong pick for you. If you want to compare Smartsheet directly to tools like ClickUp, Airtable, or Trello, then you'll want to head to softwarefinds.com, where we are building out a library of reviews and comparisons focusing on the best tools and softwares today. And if this has been a helpful video, make sure to give it a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel to see more in-depth reviews and comparisons.